So welcome,
Uh,
welcome. If you can type in the chat or the Q&A where you're from, it'd be great to see where everyone's dialing in from.
Welcome aboard, Connor. So you just hopped on, or Canon, I am blind.
That's okay. I think we can get going.
All
There will be
right.
more that join. Always happens.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the webinar. So here is John Cavendish, the myth, the man, the legend, and he's going to talk about how to make your life way less stressful with Amazon.
Thanks for having us, Greg, and it's always great to partner with Empire Flippers. I know we've done a lot of stuff together, so it's yeah, thanks for having us on.
Always my pleasure, my friend.
All right, well, I have a presentation I can share if you're okay with me. Just I can just start off
Yeah,
now and share with everyone. So this is an interactive presentation. If you have anything you want to say, any questions you want to ask, there's a chat box and there's a Q&A box. Hopefully they both work. Definitely one of them will work. Let me open up the Q&A as well. I've got it open on my screen. So anything throughout, you have any technical questions, feedback, anything else, feel free to just type it in the box. And yeah, we're here to serve. Can you see my screen?
you're looking great, man. I'll cut off my video here so that you can see your screen better.
Okay, awesome. All right, okay. So, look at Greg looking all beardless in that photo. What we're going to be going over today is fast Amazon fixes.
Making me feel self-conscious with the beard comment. What do you...
Beards are the best.
All right, I'll stop interrupting your presentation. Go
That's all right.
ahead.
I'm a big fan of men in beards, mainly myself. So, fast Amazon fixes, Seller Candy's guide to suspensions, flat files, and reviews. So, what we're going to be going over today, we're going to be going over to how to fix three of the most critical Seller Central problems that we commonly work through at Seller Candy, and stay to the end because we'll be giving out resources and sharing how you can get things done even quicker. But throughout, we have some QR codes, some resources. So take screenshots, make notes. I always take away from presentations like make notes as if you want to teach it to somebody else because it makes it more fun and interactive. So quickly about us and our beliefs at Seller Candy. We believe that selling on Amazon should never be about running around in circles after seller support to fix what should be small issues, completely ruining your focus and taking your eyes off the big picture. We believe that having too much on your plate, that you should never be having too much on your plate. So you don't have time and energy to hire and train staff, which means you have to do everything yourself, and should never be not knowing what to outsource first, wasting time that could otherwise be spent on growing your business. We believe that selling on Amazon should be not about waking up in the morning and immediately starting to fix problems you didn't cause, not about grinding 24/7, and not about finding some secret marketing tactic that nobody else knows. And it's not about having some complicated hiring and training process so you can have a huge team that you don't know what they're doing. So, what you're going to learn in this presentation is how to leverage expert assistance to create time and space in your business so that you can scale your revenue. You learn how an expert team can help position you as the owner in your business instead of the operator, and exactly what you should and should not be doing in your Amazon business. So, quickly, who am I? I'm founder and CEO of Seller Candy. We've served over 500 clients in the Amazon space. Before that, I was a seller myself, sold a bunch of consulting, and I've run Amazon related businesses for the last coming up to 10 years now. Time has gone very, very quickly. It also allows me to speak at conferences. And yeah, I met my wife and managed to travel the world all because of Amazon. Amazon is what's given me freedom to speak at conferences, travel the world, and have the life I want to have. And that's why I'm passionate about, working with sellers and helping everyone else achieve this level of freedom. So, what we're going to go through today is we're going to go through solving seller central issues effectively. I don't know about you, but I used to be there on the phone, calling seller support, raising cases, and banging my head against the monitor because things just don't get done. So, what I'm going to share with you is our Seller Candy's process on how to get things done better. And if you don't know what Seller Candy does, we believe that the worst part about selling on Amazon is dealing with Amazon, and we make it so you never need to talk to seller support again. So it's a Monday morning, hopefully not. You check your phone, and it's a performance notification, and it's a suspended listing. And we all know who's behind suspended listings, don't we? It's Dr. Bezos. So this is exactly how our agents go about solving a suspended listing. So there's a few steps in this process, and they will all make sense at the end. So just make sure you note down every step, and this is how we get things done. So immediately, you raise a case in Seller Central to ask support what they believe it is. Now, this is a long shot, but there's a reason we're doing this. And the reason we're doing this is so we have traceability. So you raise a case, you ask what you think the problem was, and you write down that case ID. This is going to come up later. Secondly, you raise another case in Seller Support asking Amazon to enable your category listing report. And the category listing report is an amazing flat file for all your listings, which will allow you to edit listings, including ones that have been suspended. So the reason we're doing this is so we have a file so that you can now download this, as you can see there in the inventory report section, and it'll allow you to download information about your listings, even if it's been suspended, which is where we want to be. So then we're going to complete the initial 5 steps, top 5 issues. First one, these are our top 5 issues that we deal with on a weekly basis, daily, weekly basis. So this is what we're going to take you through. First one is it's a product policy violation, which is probably one of the biggest reasons you get an ASIN suspension, a listing suspension. First thing to then is to sanitize your listing. So what we mean by that is remove all the content that might or might not be Amazon, can't speak tonight. Tripping Amazon's bots. So so that it doesn't happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the flat file, open the category listing report, delete all the content, and make it super generic. So for example, it's a green widget, bullets, one, it's great, whatever. It doesn't matter, but no real keywords, no words that could trip up Amazon's system. You replace this content with generic terms and a basic explanation of the product, or produce product, and you upload this as a bulk file and note down the bulk upload reference number. So already we've done 2 steps. We've got the initial case ID that we created, and we've got this bulk feed upload reference number. Awesome. Next thing, authenticity. This is the second most common thing that we do. And this is quite simple, although it's not that simple, is you annotate invoices. So you need to locate invoices for the products that you sent in. You want to annotate these by marking the products in red and adding description. So the reason for this is, hopefully, your products from your supplier haven't got the same name as the product you're selling on Amazon, because your supplier has probably not labeled it with 100 keywords. So you want to make sure you put a red box around it, an arrow saying this is why it's called this. This is the product we're talking about, so that someone who's looking at it for 10 seconds can identify this is right, tick the box, and the person that's checking this in 10 seconds can just mark it done and move on to the next thing. You need to upload these to Amazon so they see the source of the products and that they can say yes, A-OK. And this is usually the reason that people get these invoices rejected, is because they're not obvious that this is the product that Amazon is talking about. Okay, we're on to number 3 already. Number 3 is an IP violation. So you need to review the notification from the brand owner. If you get an IP violation, you're going to get a message from Amazon that says this person is contesting the IP, and it gives you an email address. To review it, you've got the email address. Awesome. One of the few things in Amazon you actually get an email address. You're then going to use the email provided in the notification to ask for clarification. So you're going to email them, hey, I got this. I don't think this is a real issue. Please help clarify what we've done to violate this IP. And you're going to track all correspondence, because this is where you get a lot of bad actors on the Amazon platform making allegations of IP violation without actually having IP violation. And what we need to do here is to track and show that they're not acting in the right way. So if the brand owner doesn't respond after 5 attempts to reach out to them, you can now raise a case to Amazon and use this as evidence to show that Amazon should remove this violation because this person is not playing ball. They've already sent you a notification saying there's a problem, but they won't respond to you about what the problem is. This is a red flag for Amazon, and it means they can remove this IP violation. If that makes sense. Good. We're already on to number 4. So, product safety issue. If there's a product safety issue, this is when it's time to create a plan of action. Creating a plan of action is also sounds simple, but this is where a lot of um, sellers get hung up. And as I like to say to our team, it's do you want to be right or do you want to be rich or do you want to make money? And this is where Amazon often raises things which you don't think is an issue, but they think it's an issue. And do we want to be right or do you want to make or do you make money? Do you want to be rich? So you review the issue raised by Amazon. Then you need to create a plan that addresses these points, even if you think they're not valid. The reason for that is, if the listing's down for another 2 days or week or 2 weeks while Amazon contests what you're saying, we're not up and selling. And all they want to do is be able to tick boxes to make sure that we see. Sorry, I'm dying here because it's late. It's late where I am. I'm traveling at the moment. Um, to make sure that they see that everything is ticked off, so they can remove the violation. So what you have to do, you have to number 1, accept the issue. 2, you take immediate steps. So what are the steps that we take? We go, okay, first usually it's a bin check to check this issue didn't propagate through all the inventory. 2, it didn't. And 3, going forward, we will make sure that we inspect everything in the factory or whatever it is. A lot of times these are things like returns sold as new. Amazon's messed up on a return, and then they've said a safety complaint because they said, "Oh, someone said it was new, so it was used, sold as new." We know it's not. That's not the case because it all came direct from factory, for example. But Amazon needs a plan, and this is the plan that will make sure that it doesn't happen. You then upload this in response to the case because you just ticked that you've accepted the issue. Steps have been taken immediately, and this will never happen again. Okay, number 5. 5, hazmat. So, hazmat's another issue that comes up regularly. This can either be because it's a hazardous product or because Amazon's got a new bot that's gone around and just flagging everything on the platform. So, 1, if it's applicable, you can upload your STS exemption sheet from your supplier. So, if it is a hazmat product, Amazon's just flagged it again. Hopefully, you've got your safety data sheet. You've either done testing yourself or you've done it from your supplier. You should know that's a safety issue and just upload that. If it's not applicable, which is what we deal with most often, you need to search in Seller Central for the STS exemption sheet for your category because they vary quite a bit by category. You need to complete it for your product and upload it in the case by Amazon. So pretty simple. If this doesn't work, this is when you need to do the scary thing, maybe the first time, which is to delete and relist the product. So the main thing to keep in mind if you do this, delete, relist, is that Amazon, once you've created your listing, it's no longer actually stored in your account. It's stored in Amazon Central Catalog. So that means that when you delete it, you're not going to lose the listing. You're not going to lose reviews. It's just being deleted from your account and then being added to your account. So first time we work with people, a lot of time it's scary the first time that you delete your listing because you spent all your time and money and effort and business is based on this listing. But what you have to do, delete it, wait for 24 hours, re-upload it, and hopefully that resets your listing. I say hopefully. So if you're still having issues at this point, this is when the time investment comes in. And this is when also all the work we've put in up to this point comes in. So what happens here is you call up Amazon, you say, hey, I've got this issue. And they say, oh, it's terrible. You shouldn't have had that issue, as they always say. Let's do the first thing. Let's raise the case about it. And you say, ah, oh, that's okay. I've already raised the case about it a couple of days ago when I started this. Here's the case ID. They say, oh, awesome, great work. All right, well, I'm going to try and do an update by flat file upload, bulk file upload. And you say, oh, I've already tried that too. Here's the bulk file upload number from step 2. And they go, oh, wow, you know what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to do a delete relist for you. I'll delete it. We wait 24, 48 hours and re-upload. And you go, touche. I've done that too. I've done that. So you've done all of the three major steps that they would already want to do. They go, oh, well, I better put you through to the leadership team or the escalation team now because, yeah, that's everything that we would do. And rather than you waiting for Amazon to go back and forth and take 2 weeks to do this, you've done all this within like a couple of days. So you've saved yourself a week and a half of frustration and lost sales because we did it ourselves. And there wasn't a magic pill. We didn't slip someone $100 bills under the door. Um, what we did was that if we can tell them exactly how to solve the issue, they can follow our process or my process, as opposed to us having to go back and forth and round in circles over and over again. So here's a breakdown of the process. You can download Amazon's flat file for your listing, which is the category listing report. You make edits and create a clean version. You delete the listing, then wait 24 hours before uploading again. And then you just call. Keep calling. In a nice infographic, should you like to take a screenshot? Who loves an infographic? I do. So what we're doing is we are flipping the resolution process on its head. How about another? Jeff has been busy. So you've got an unfair bad review. And what can you do about unfair bad reviews? And who's there at the other end rejecting all of your hard work? It is Dr. Bezos again. He's come out of retirement. I think he has come out of retirement, isn't he? But he's back on it, rejecting bad reviews. So this is exactly how our agents go about removing bad reviews. So just quickly, just so we're all on the same page, there's two types and two ways that buyers can leave feedback. One is feedback on the Seller Central account, and the other is product reviews, which are feedback on the listing detail page. So to remove a seller's feedback, here's the process. We're going to go through this quickly because it's just easier, but there's still some nuance to it. You log into Seller Central, you go to performance feedback, you find any negative feedback and request removal. And then you can request removal if it's a product review, shipping related issue, or anything in between. So this is the most important thing. Just if you're an FBA seller, it can be anything that isn't your customer service related, because Amazon is literally taking care of everything else. If you're FBM, shipping your own products, then yes, there are other things that you do, like shipment. But if you're FBA, as long as you're not telling them to F off in the customer messages, pretty much you can get it removed. The issue here is Amazon now rejects these, like say 60% of the time. So if Amazon refuses, do not let the case close when they reject it. Transfer it to your assistant, or if you don't have assistant, do it yourself, and get them to do it for you. Keep it open. If you let the case close, it takes much longer. I see there's a question. I'll answer that question shortly. So there's also product reviews, which are reviews on the product listing. And I'm just going to take you through the brief process of how to get this done. This is a arduous process. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but this is best practice to actually get it done. So first way is you can report abuse. So you see the negative review just here. There's a report abuse button. Next to was this review helpful to you? You can report abuse if this negative review violates Amazon's terms of service, terms of Amazon's guidelines there. You can't report it if it doesn't violate Amazon's guidelines, because that's fraud. So don't do that. But yeah, if it's actually not for this product, to do with shipping or something that isn't anything to do with you as the product owner, you can report it. This violates guidelines. It's nothing to do with the actual product. Second way is to contact support. So in the back end of your Seller Central account, you can go in there, contact support. There's actually a template in here, so you can take a screenshot of that template, fill in the information, send it off. Gives you a direct line to seller support talking about that review, and they will get back to you. And it's always good when you actually get a response from seller support. And the third way, if you're a brand owner, which I think most of us will be, you can find the order ID of the person who left the bad review, which is the latest thing and also awesome. So you go into brand dashboard, find the product, find the ID, and you can send a message, and you can send one message. So it better be a good message. So draft something really good. Um, you know, I'm sure ChatGPT is probably your friend here, or otherwise, I know Greg is a great copywriter and creative writer. So whatever you can send them, so that they take notice and react with you, so you can help them fix the problem. That's the best thing to do. And then maybe they will adjust their review later, which often they will do. So, John, that's me. You've now told me how to fix some of the hardest to solve issues in my account, but what if I have technical problems? So, Cannon House, I also saw your message. You said, any steps we can take in advance when first setting up our listings to prevent these delisting issues from happening in the first place? It's a good question. Hmm. The only thing which I could say that's generic and applies to every type of issue would be variations. So making sure that product variations are similar products and not set up with like 1,000 variations of different products on the same listing, which we see, because that can mean that people buy the wrong product and they get something different from what they think they ordered, which leads to high negative voice of the customer, and eventually that can lead to deactivation. Um, that's the main thing. If you have any particular issues or you're having issues, we can actually make an offer later and we can help you for free. Have a look at that and see if there is anything that we can point out that's a good thing on that. Erin, see your question. What if you've done all these steps, clean the content, delete the listing, and called Amazon? Amazon has told you the product will be reinstated. Yay, which is very good, but it takes up to 2 business days. After 2 business days, listing is still suspended. You're in the cycle right now. I would call them back and say, look, we've done all this. Um, you told me, it says 2 business days, but in my experience, it takes an hour. I will stay on the phone until we get it back. Um, Amazon telling you to wait 2 business days is the biggest frustrating time suck that there can possibly be. So just repeated calling is the only way to do that, and requesting a callback, ideally, through your brand dashboard. So request a callback, stay on the phone. I know it sucks, but that's what our team does because it is what it is. Amazon Seller Central seller support sucks. We used to say that on the back of our hoodies when we went to events, but then we thought Amazon might see it, and we didn't want to get suspended as a service provider. That was years ago. So, thanks, Erin. Good question. So, now you've told me how to fix some of the hardest solve issues. What if there are technical problems during update? I think you'll like this one. So, you have an error code on your flat file. Oh no. How listen to this is how to get unstuck from that. So this is the secret sauce you need to get unstuck from flat files. And I was going to do a whole big section on that in this presentation, but it's getting super late here. And I thought it was easier just to PDF our SOP. So you can download our SOP. This is our flat file fixing SOP to how to fix the 12 most common error codes. Those 12. If you know them by heart, you're better than me. But yeah, here's where you can download the definitions for the 12 biggest error codes. So your resolution is just simple. You check the attached document, you run through the steps, and you celebrate that you finally got flat files to work. And it's also, they're all really complicated. So, which is here's an example of one. But I don't want to have to go through all of it. And it's easier for you in the future since you actually came here. You can download the SOP. This is literally the one from our system, which I just PDF'd and removed our reference numbers from. So 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm sure everyone's got their phone within close reach. I know I'm addicted. All right. So does this help? Hopefully, some thumbs up. I'll visualize it. So let's continue. Oh, is that a thumb up, Greg?
I'm just adding in my support. Keep on going if you have more.
I have so much more. Actually, I might skip the next section and move on to the final section because I know we're on a tight time schedule today, and this one doesn't add value to this audience. Ooh. If you want, you can go back, pause all that, and read an entire section of a presentation. So, what I'm going to go through now is how to know what to give your team or your assistant, which actually really is how to know what to work on in your business first. I know a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, every one of us has goals of what we want to do and a million things that we could be doing. So, how do we identify what we should be doing next? Uh, Good question, isn't it? And the way that we say we should do that at Seller Candy is by doing an Amazon Seller Central gap review. This is one thing we do for all our new clients, but also you can take our process and do it for yourself. All this really does is to take us from where we are now, which is usually sitting about this far from our business, trying to figure out what we should be doing, and move us up to the 30,000-foot view to see, okay, well, where are the bottlenecks? Where really should we be looking in our business? So, what's the aim of a gap review? To evaluate all aspects of your Amazon presence, provide you the logical steps you could take, probably could take to smash your Amazon goals, and give you a fresh perspective and an unbiased view of what you're doing now. Then our triage system lets you know which challenges are going to make the biggest impact in the fastest time for the lowest cost. So, current state. Get a list, make a list in your favorite list making app. I use Google Sheets because it makes it much easier later on, and go through every part of your business. So go through back-end of seller support. Look for where things are getting stuck, where settings might be wrong. Look at the inventory placement service. Look at all your FBA settings. Just go back and look for anything that seems amiss. Then go through your listings. Click on everything. Click on the storefront links. There's usually a lot of broken storefront links. Look for listing errors. Look for bullets that have gone wrong. If you're selling in multiple markets, make sure your images are right in every market and the language is right in every market. Look for listing errors. Marketing overview. Make sure all your campaigns are ones that you meant to have live. That's not that they're optimized, not wasting too much money, and that really you're still keeping an eye on marketing. Look for buy box suppressions as people go into multiple marketplaces and have a lot of variations. Sometimes these can be missed. So whether it's a buy box suppression or just not having the buy box, so that it's the listing is still live, but under other offers. Just check every listing, make sure it's live. Look for account health issues. So this could be your account health score. It can be voice of the customer, anything in account health, and expansion opportunities. So are we missing something simple? Are we selling in the US and we could be selling cross-border into Canada and Mexico through NAF and we're not doing it and the product fits? What are easy expansion opportunities? Not easy. What about European expansion opportunities? So after they've done that, we look at impact. So how much difference will it make? So you've got this big list. Then we go through and look at each point from element one, point by point, and we evaluate what's going to make a big difference if changed and how much impact that's going to have. Scale of 1 to 10. 1, why'd I put it on the list? 10, if I do this, my business will completely be transformed. This takes the stress out of knowing what you should and shouldn't be working on. But then we need to figure out how much this is going to cost and how much time it's going to take. So what this does is evaluate the amount of time it's going to take to fix or improve something, and we're going to approximate the cost, just on a scale of 1 to 10. We're then going to check this against impact, because there's no point throwing time and money at something that's not going to make a big difference at all. Bringing us the final element, priority. Look objectively at your list and prioritize what you should be working on right now, what's going to make the biggest impact for the lowest cost, time, and effort. And this is the same process we've used to help consulting clients make profitable decisions for the last 5 years. And you can use it too. So when you review your presence, you use the gap system to review your presence. You get a fresh perspective on where you are now. You can take steps which will take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And this can make a huge impact on your business if you follow the plan. So follow the plan. That is often the case is we don't follow the plan, even the plans we made ourselves. And that's why you need an assistant sometimes. So we've only had 40 minutes to go through this. And I wanted to be cognizant of your time. It's a Thursday. And since I'm traveling at the moment, and I don't have time, how would you like a personal one-on-one session to review how this could be applied to your business? So what I'm doing, being that some of our team has been off this week and we've got a few openings, I'm opening up 12 spots with a Seller Candy team that we can talk about anything. So it's technical issues, your team, or anything going on in your business. The last time we did this, we found the listing had been suppressed for months and cost tens of thousands of dollars in lost sales, and the seller had just given up because they couldn't find out how to fix it. Another seller had hidden and missing inbound shipments, and we found that it was worth $7,800. We got that back for them. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We always find something, and I'm sure that you have revenue sitting on the table somewhere, and we're going to find it for you if you do. These are normally $497 a session, but for the first 12, we're going to give that for free because we have some capacity and it's the holiday and everyone loves holidays. I also gave you the wrong link, so sorry about that. I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's the second one. And so if you want to chat, there's a link here. And don't share this link because this is a specific link that I made for this webinar. So only attendees here get this. So, if they'll get taken, they'll get taken. But this is just for attendees here. Like free session, we'll go through, talk about the technical stuff, and yeah, see if we can help you. I see some more people are joining joining for the last minute. So welcome, welcome. So we have a few minutes for some Q&A. We've had some Q&A throughout. We also had some Q&A submitted before this via email. When we actually promoted the webinar. So feel free to write any in the Q&A box or chat box. A question which I had earlier is here as well. And Greg appeared. Hello, Greg.
Wild Greg is back, my friend.
It's like sighting the Sasquatch.
You see me, you just want to sell your business, is the effect I have on people.
Yeah, LOIs left, right, and center.
Well, thanks, man, for doing this presentation. Like John said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But I mean, if you want to answer some questions, I know you're locked on a bit on time, but I have a couple questions that the audience has submitted. I can go ahead and ask you.
You may. That sounds amazing.
All right. Let's see here. Where's a good juicy one? Here's one that I feel like is a very great question for you that our audience asked. What's the weirdest or funniest suspension reason you've ever seen?
The funniest suspension, weirdest or funniest. There's probably different ones. I can't say the brand name, maybe because it's probably there's a company that we worked with that sold watches. Um, they're in Canada. Watches is not a niche I would recommend you get in. That's why I'm sharing watches because nobody is is fighting over that hot watch niche. Um, they had a good brand outside. I believe it was watches or accessories. And a thing we've counted several times is Amazon previously, I don't know if they fixed it fully now, didn't take into account that you can have the same trademark in several different categories. Different companies can have it because you get a trademark in a certain category. And if you sell watches, you're probably not going to have the trademark in the category for personal lubricant, for example, or in this example, personal lubricant. So when they click on their storefront, you get a lovely mix of their accessories and personal lubricant. So they were a bit surprised about that, and we spent a long time trying to fix what was going on there.
Beautiful. Another one we have is what's one account health metric that sellers tend to underestimate, and how can they And how can ignoring it backfire?
Mm. I would say probably voice of the customer.
Hmm.
Um, because until it's not a problem until it's a problem. So it's not a problem that you get a few negative reviews. People say BS. And the also problem with voice of the customer can be if you have a product that's like lots of people want to return, but they don't want to pay the return fees, they can mark it as an issue. And if they all say wrong size or they all say something like that, Amazon can flag it as a voice of the customer issue and suspend your listing over time. So make sure you keep checking regularly your voice of the customer so these things don't pile up.
All right, a topic on everyone's mind across every industry. What role is AI playing in Amazon compliance today, both from sellers and from Amazon's side?
Um, we haven't seen that much of what they're rolling out. I think with Amazon, eventually AI is the solution to everything, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's going to be a while before Amazon trusts AI, I think, to do things like shipment, inventory stuff, money-based stuff, because AI can be manipulated, as we've all seen.
Yes. I was just doing a thing with Claude with like data analysis, and it just was didn't use any of the numbers I gave it. Like, oh, you just like completely made this up. You're like, you're right, I did. Like, oh my
Yes, and it's overly, I don't know about you, but I use ChatGPT quite a bit for processing, for thinking. And I found a prompt recently that was really good. That's basically just be pessimistic and ask me lots of questions. Stop being so positive about everything. It's like that's a great idea, John. That is a great idea. I love it when I have these great ideas. I think I'm going to swap
Terribly
my wife for
ironic.
ChatGPT. Okay.
All right, another question from the audience. A lot of experienced sellers still try to troubleshoot issues themselves. What are some common DIY fixes that actually make things worse or harder to recover from?
Yes, suspensions. So when people try and fix suspensions with emotional responses or quick fire shoot from the hip responses, that's when things get worse. Um, so not having a full plan, arguing with the reason it happened, begging. Amazon doesn't respond well to begging. No, I mean sometimes like just please give it back. It's my business. It's not really begging, but you know what I mean. It's just an emotional email like please fix it. Yeah, you have to be strategic. So anytime where you're shooting from the hip with seller support, if it's an important issue, don't shoot from the hip.
Makes sense. When sellers are scaling from 6 to 7 figures, what kinds of backend issues tend to surface for the first time?
Hmm. I don't think there's a specific type at higher revenue. It's just more of them. Um,
More of the same.
more of the same as Hormozy. Everyone loves a bit of Alex Hormozy. It's like, what does a $10 million business do different from a $1 million business? Maybe 10 times more.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, just do more. Yeah.
I imagine at that phase, that's where I mean you and I talked about this previously, I believe, but I think at that phase is when you most likely have like a crazy amount of SKUs, so more problems might be seeping in, would be my guess. Unless you're really on it, or if you're a seller candy customer, I'd assume.
I was going to sell a candy customer, then you're fine. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, to be honest, I mean, a seven-figure business probably not going to have that many SKUs if you're a brand owner. Um, most most of our clients who are brand owners with that many with doing seven figures are not going to have more than 20, 30 parent SKUs max.
Okay, cool.
Maybe 100, maybe
Uh,
a lot of children.
so we have one here. I do not know what this means, but I assume you do. I think you actually mentioned it in your presentation, but flat files are pretty standard for most growing sellers, but where do you see the biggest mistakes happening that end up causing listing headaches?
Um, yeah, I mean, just flat file errors. So if you saw the presentation, hopefully you downloaded the QR code, which has all of our flat file errors on it. You can literally
Uh,
steal it. I won't say how find I'll find it.
well, we should be able to send this out as a replay as well to all the registers, I assume, eh, John?
Yes, you may.
Cool. So
I'll see if I can
you'll
pull
be
this
able to
up in
get
case someone doesn't have it because that would drive me nuts.
okay.
Drive me nuts if someone said, "Oh, you better go and watch
Give
and
me the
download the
QR code
replay."
back.
Finish there. You got 3.5 seconds to take a photo.
3.5, so specific, John. I like it.
So I can only count to 3.5.
Well, cool, man. Let's see. Do we have any more questions in here?
I saw one or two. I think I had some questions about the session I saw come up. So, one question someone said, like, I have a suspended listing. Can I ask your team about that? Yes. Yes, you can. It's a good answer. Can I get this later? I know this is just for this. Usually you either have to pay for a consulting session or um, or sign up to Seller Candy to get this, but it's free for the first 12 people. If I don't, what if I don't have a problem? That one came up. I said, but you probably do have a problem. That everyone has a problem. So we'll help you find problems. If there's no problems, amazing. You know that you're squeaky clean and that you can retire a happy man or woman. Do you solve issues at Seller Candy? Like, yes, we do. So basically, what Seller Candy does is, as I said at the start, like we believe the worst part about selling on Amazon is dealing with Amazon. So our whole mission is to make it so you don't need to talk to seller support again. We do that through having our own platform. We have over 30 ex-Amazon seller support agents who were used to work for Amazon, hated it, and came to work for us because we actually empower them to solve problems. And you get your own support agent, and basically it's like an outsourced seller support slash VA who you don't need to manage because they're always trained. So you don't need to manage, you just manage by outcomes, not by management and hiring and training and that sort of stuff. And that's about it, really. And that's all the questions I saw.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on and doing this, John. Always a well of valuable information when it comes to this topic that I think most sellers find, to be honest, quite tedious to handle. So I'm glad there's people around like you to solve this problem. You're welcome, Cannon House. Happy to help.
Cannon House is a good name.
It's a fantastic name.
What
I
sort of name that
feel
you would come up with?
maybe he reads my poetry on Facebook as he's debating on selling his FBA business or working with you, right?
Yeah, yeah, follow Greg on Facebook for more creative endeavors.
Well, if for the people on this call and for the recording we'll send out, if someone wanted to reach out to you, what I'm assuming just go to sellercandy.com, or do you want to send them anywhere else?
Yes. So if you're interested in actually in talking to us, use that link because that's the best deal we've got right now because it doesn't cost any money. You can also check out our website, sellercandy.com. And if you want our guide, which is a guide on basically a lot of the stuff I talked about today, plus more, that's at sellercandy.academy. You can go to sellercandy.academy, download our guide. It's useful.
Awesome. Definitely highly recommend John. I've known John forever. So if you have these issues, John is probably the number one guy in the industry actually to reach out to. So highly
Oh, thank you.
recommend.
Thanks, Greg. And everyone, have a great night, great day. I'm going to have to close the webinar now because it kicks it. There's no way of ending it without closing it. So Zoom needs a thing which allows you to
See
end a webinar without closing everything. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
See
Well,
you all
see you
later.
later, John, and see
Bye.
you everyone else later as well.